and a warm welcome. The Directorate of Taxpayer Services, DGTS, CBIC, Bengaluru Zonal Unit, has always been in the forefront in taking various training programs for the benefit of the taxpayers. Today also we are creating one such program to give more awareness to the taxpayers. Further, we request all trade associations to involve more women entrepreneurs and make use of them to participate in this type of webinars to get awareness in GST and customs matters. The Director General of Taxpayer Services, Bengaluru Zonal Unit, in association with All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, AIFTP Southern Zone, Associate Tax Practitioners, ATP Kerala, Karnataka State Chartered Accountant Association, KSCIA Karnataka, Kerala Merchants Chamber of Commerce, KMCC Kochi, Cochin Chamber of Commerce and Industry, CCCI and Kerala, Tumkuru District Chamber of Commerce and Industry, TDCCI Tumkuru, invites you all to this webinar on the topic filing of annual GST returns and overview. To presenting today's program, we have highly talented faculty from our department. Also, to make the question and answer session more effective, we have senior and experienced officers of CGST Commissioners. Before we start the program, I have some important announcement. Microphones of all the participants are muted to avoid in-between disturbances during webinar. At the end of the program, we have a question and answer session, which will be attended by our expert panelists. So I request the audience to upload your queries in the chat box, which is open now, and the same will be noted and passed on to the expert panelists. The questions should be confined only to today's topic. Questions other than today's topic will not be entertained. I repeat, the questions should be confined only to today's topic. Further, in case of any queries, clarifications, taxpayers are requested to contact our GST Seva Kendra officers in the numbers for Karnataka 080-2286-6812, 080-2286-4105, for Kerala 0484-2394-105. Today, due to some urgent meeting, our ADG Sri Amar Kumar Sinha sir is not able to join. I request Ms. Rachana IRS Joint Director to kindly address the gathering with the inaugural address. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ebenezer ji. A very good afternoon to all the people present in this webinar. I will not spend too much time in addressing everybody separately, as Mr. Ebenezer has already done so. I will just simply like to state that in view of the due date of annual return filing in December, we have come with this webinar from one of our arranged superintendent, Mr. Vipul Kumar Singh, who will be giving you an overview of the annual return filing. And we hope that this webinar will be able to help you and assist you in doing this return filing in a smooth and easy manner in the coming month. In addition to all the rules that Mr. Ebenezer has mentioned, I request again, as we've been doing, we've had an association of about 5 months now since I've joined DGTS. I will make again a request that any relevant topics that you would like for DGTS to take up in future webinars, to kindly either leave in the chat box or a Google link, which Mr. Kishore from DGTS would leave on the chat box, or he would provide me and I would leave on the chat box. With this, I welcome once again all the participants, all the panelists, all the attendees, and I now hand over back to Ebenezer to invite the faculty for today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for our warm inaugural address. For involvement.
Can't hear it, sir.
It is our privilege to hear.
Sir, voice is breaking.
Today's topic is very important and interesting one. Topic speaker need cover the entire topic. So I request the trade representative to take 2 to 3 minutes for their guest speech to give more time to topic speaker. Thank you. We have with us Sri D.F. Patar, Vice Chairman, A. Request Sri to address again. Over to you.
Thank you, Ebenezer, sir. And thank you, DGTS team. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Sri Amar Kumar Sinha IRS, respected Madam Rachana, and respected Mr. Vipul Kumar Singh, the faculty, and all my association president secretaries, Mr. K. M. Masood, Abhilash sir, uh, Krishna Kumar, Ravi Shankar, and SP Kamath sir. Good afternoon. Basically, GSTR 9, the filing process, it involves a reconciliation of data from the returns to ensure that the correctness of whatever we have filed monthly returns. And we can easily identify if any discrepancies between the data filed in monthly returns and GSTR 9. And it could lead to avoid, it could lead any mistakes to attract penalties and late fees. So because of that, knowing filing of this GSTR 9 is very, very much. And nowadays, even a department also has got different tools to find out the comparison statements, which is more useful for the dealers as well as the department also to identify the mistakes or the lacunas. On that basis, we are getting notices and all. For that, replies also given, and it's been good that department is considering our requests and all. And friends, in conclusion, GSTR 9 filing is not just a statutory requirement. It ensures transparency and compliances with GST laws. Regular and accurate filing helps maintain a smooth flow of business operations and avoids any future tax issues. So, in this regard, and as Rachana Madam was asking some suggestions with regard to any of future webinars, and now it is very essential. Everyone is awaiting for amnesty scheme descriptions. What and all is how and all it is to be done for the amnesty scheme which has been introduced recently. So in that way, I request the DGTS team consider our request and make a seminar on that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, DGTS, for giving me this opportunity to our association. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Your suggestion well noted, sir. We will try to take that class on amnesty scheme also. We have with us Sri K. M. Masood, State President, ATP Kerala. I request Sri Masood sir to address the gathering. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, I can't get my video present to you. So I'm just speak to you all. Good evening
Yes,
to
sir.
all.
Yes, sir.
Distinguished guests, faculties, and my friends. It's my privilege to represent the Association of Tax Practitioners, Kerala, at this insightful webinar organized by the Director General of Taxpayer Services, DGTS. At ATP, we take pride in equipping our members with the knowledge and expertise needed to excel in their professional roles and programs. Like this are invaluable in achieving that goal. The topic, filing of annual GST returns and overview, is of paramount importance. Annual GST returns, particularly GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C, are critical components of the compliance framework under GST. These returns consolidated the entire year's transactions, including outward and inward supplies, tax liabilities, and input tax credits. They also provide taxpayers with an opportunity to reconcile and correct any discrepancies that may have occurred during monthly or quarterly filings. For tax practitioners, this process is both a responsibility and an opportunity. It is our duty to ensure that businessmen not only meet their compliance obligations, but also optimize their tax position while maintaining the highest standard of accuracy and transparency. However, challenges such as mismatches, reconciliation issues, and portal-related hurdles often complicate the process. This is where collaboration, knowledge sharing, and training like today's session make a significant difference. I am pleased to see active participation from our ATP members in this program. I encourage all of you to engage with the subject matter, seek clarifications, and take full advantage of the experience being offered here. Together, let us ensure that our compliance practices not only align with the legal requirements, but also contribute to a more robust and transparent GST ecosystem. Thank you to the organizers for this initiative, and I wish the webinar great success. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
We have with us CA Abhilas, Member Indirect Tax Committee, KSCAA, Bangalore. I request CA Abhilas to address the gathering. Over to you, Abhilas.
Can we unmute
Your voice is
Abhilash?
not audible.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to one and all present here in this webinar. It's an honor for me to be representing the Indirect Tax Committee of Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association. We at KSCAA, we are an association of 4,000 plus chartered accountants across the state of Karnataka. We have been striving to enable better engagement between the regulatory authorities and the taxpayers. DGTS has now scheduled this seminar maybe at the right time, I would say, with the annual return due date around the corner for the financial year 23-24. It is very important for us to understand the disclosure requirements of GSTR 99C to ensure that there is correct reporting of output tax payable and the input tax credit that is availed during the financial year. The importance of annual return increases much more because of the fact that the tax authorities also rely on this return during the course of their assessments, the audits, and the investigations that are carried on under GST. I would say in this session, we look forward to more clarity, particularly in terms of the disclosures of temporary reversal and the permanent reversals that has been recently amended, in GSTR 3B reporting. So I think there's a little bit of unrest in terms of clarity as to how it has to be disclosed in GSTR 9. Maybe the speaker can help us throw a light on this aspect. All in all, on behalf of the ITT committee, I thank DGTS to have extended this opportunity to represent KSCAA in this webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We have with us Sri Krishna Kumar TG, Taxation Secretary, KMCC, Kochi, Kerala. I request Sri Krishna Kumar to address the gathering. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all the participants. Respected Additional Director General Amar Kumar, sir, my co-guest speakers of different trade associations from Kerala and Karnataka, and respected topic speakers Sri Vipul Kumar sir and Rachana ma'am. Our KMCC association expressed wholehearted thanks to all the DGTS for conducting this webinar on the current important topic of annual return to be filed next month. This is only a reconciliation statement, as the earlier speaker said, IPT and OPT, but still there are a lot of ambiguities are there. Hope this webinar will clear all the doubts and make it easy. Hopefully, all trade bodies will accept what I am saying now. Since this is a taxpayer service forum, our KMCC members request this office that officials are there to recommend the GSTN and GST Council not to do any changes or modifications in the GSTR return in the midway of the year. We are finding very difficulties onto that. Not only us, even the chartered accountants and tax practitioners are also facing the same problem. We welcome the development day by day and changes, but should be on the beginning of the financial year. We are stressing that every time we are pressurizing this on that to the GST Council. But you from your side also, we want a recommendations for that. Upon our request, the DGTS agreed to conduct a topic on the invoice management services. Once again, thanks for the same. I mean, it is going to come on the next month, I think. Our participants expressed their happiness on the questions and answer section, which is duly acknowledged and replied suitably. Our thanks to DGTS and a special thanks to Ebenezer sir for this invitation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. We have with us Sri GRS Ravi Shankar, Chairman, Taxation Committee, TDCCI, Tunkuru. I request Sri Ravi Shankar to address the gathering. Sir, over to you.
Sir, namaste and very good afternoon to all the officials, participating associations and the participants. Sir, thanks for the opportunity provided to Tumakuru District Chamber of Commerce and Industries to be for this part of this program. And congratulations to the DGTS for the continuous programs being conducted on the various tax related subjects. Thanks for being once again for coming up with this subject today. Sir, we have one concern which we request you to address here. There could be some confusion in ITC mismatch, where earlier it used to be GSTR 2A. Now the annual returns would be based on GSTR 2B. When the invoices are uploaded a bit late, then there are chances of ITC mismatch, sir. So it all depends on sourcing of ITC here. So Tumakuru District Chamber of Commerce and Industry has this concern along with the rest of the things. I just wanted to make a point here. So all the very best to the webinar, and hope everybody will have best of the best from the program, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we come to the main part of the program, and we are honored and privileged to have with us Sri Vipul Kumar Singh, Superintendent, Mysuru CGST Commissioner, as our faculty. He has a depth of knowledge in GST. He has been kind enough to accept our request and readily agree to do the presentation. I request Vipul to start his presentation. Over to you, Vipul.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar. This webinar is being conducted under the guidance of IRS Sri Amar Kumar Sinha, Additional Director General, DGTS, IRS Ms. Rachna, Joint Director, DGTS, and IRS Sri A. Ebenezer, Assistant Director, GGTS. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guest speakers, dear colleagues and taxpayers, whose participation enriches the very purpose of this event. Myself, Vipul Kumar Singh, currently serving as Superintendent Mysore Central Tax, working in coordination with DGTS today. Today, I'll be taking you through an overview on the process of filing of annual GST returns, specifically GSTR 9 and 9C, which is very critical in ensuring compliance and transparency on the part of taxpayer. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to an engaging and insightful session ahead. I'll share the PPT now, sir.
Yeah, you said.
I'll start, sir.
Yeah, you start, Vipul.
So let us first start what basically is GSTR 9. I'll be taking you through these topics today. What are the taxpayer categories which are required to file annual return? That is basically GSTR 9 and reconciliation statement GSTR 9C. What is the filing time frame? What are the late fees prescribed in case there is a delay in filing of GSTR 9 on the part of the taxpayer? What are the legal obligations, under which section rule we have to file annual returns, and various exemptions on the part of taxpayers, since in GSTN there are various kind of taxpayers which are registered. There may be regular taxpayers, there may be composition taxpayers, an input service distributor, taxpayer paying tax under TDS deductors, TCS deductors. So we'll have a comprehensive view first for the legal obligations, and then we can start with the video of filing of this return. So section 44 of the CGST Act, I have relevant section is there on the slide. So section 44(1) says that every registered person other than an input service distributor, a person paying tax under section 51, which is a TDS deductor, or section 52, which is a TCS deductor, a casual taxable person, and a non-resident taxable person shall furnish an annual return which may include a self-certified reconciliation statement, nothing but GSTR 9C, reconciling the value of supplies declared in the return furnished for the financial year with the audited annual financial statement for every financial year electronically within such time and in such form and in such manner as may be prescribed. I would like to stress on three parts here in the end of this section. Within such time frame is published, is intimated to the taxpayer by CBIC from time to time by issuance of notifications. In such form, the form has been prescribed wide notification 74. First time it was prescribed in 2018 for 17-18. And thereafter there has been there are certain amendments which have gone through in such manner, and the manner of filing is available on GST common portal. So all the registered person under GST have to file GSTR 9, although there are certain exemptions which we'll be discussing subsequently. Exemptions, it provide exemptions to taxpayers who have input service distribution GST, taxpayer paying tax under 51, 52, casual taxpayer and non-resident taxpayer. So obligation to furnish annual return is under section 44 read with rule 80 of the CGST rules. This return, GSTR 9 as we call the annual return, so this has to be furnished electronically on the GST common portal. As and when the return is furnished, the same can be downloaded by the taxpayer for future records and is available with the department. The deadline of GSTR 9 is prescribed from time to time every year. And recently, wide notification 28 of 23.
PPT.
Vipul,
Excuse
one
me,
second,
sir.
please.
PPT is not visible. We are getting messages. PPT is not visible. Can you please check that?
Yeah, just 1 second, Vipul. I am
Yeah.
seeing a few messages of screen not visible and audio not audible. It is
Yeah.
visible and audible at several screens that we have tested. So may I request those for whom it is not visible or the audio is not very clear to kindly re-log in, please, because rest of the people are able to see. There are a number of messages which we are seeing which also are saying that the screen is visible and they're able to hear. So may I request you to kindly reconnect once and then try, because there seems to be no error or no issue from this end. Sorry for disturbing people. Kindly continue.
Ma'am, may I resume for 2 minutes or shall I continue?
Yeah, some are
Yeah, it might
messages
be
not
useful
visible, some are visible.
It may be useful to wait for a minute. We'll just wait for a minute.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
And
Log in, sir, again.
yeah, please re-log in. Sometimes it happens maybe because of your cookie settings or something where your webcam might not be working or some setting might not be working. So just try that. I think Vipul, you can continue because
Okay,
we
sure,
have
ma'am.
to finish it in a limited time. And
Yes,
we have
ma'am.
a number of messages from members stating
Yes,
that
yes,
screen is visible and they can hear. Yeah, please
yes,
go ahead.
yes. So, as I said that earlier there was no such obligation that you can file your annual return within any prescribed amount of time, means after the due date also. But now recently in October 23, a notification was given by CBIC, 28 of 2023, which I'll read it out. Under there was an amendment under section 44(2) which says that a registered person shall not be allowed to furnish an annual return under subsection 1 for a financial year after the expiry of a period of 3 years from the due date of furnishing of the said annual return. So for this annual return 23-24, the due date is 31st December 2024. So after 2027, you won't be able to file GSTR 9. Please let us understand one thing, that GSTR 9 is a final return which gives an opportunity to the taxpayer to disclose any unaccounted sales or wherein there is a difference of ITC which has been claimed by him in access to the ITC reflected in GSTR GSTR 2B. So who are the taxpayers who are supposed to file GST 9? So section 44 says every registered person, but wide notification which is being given every year by CBIC, recent notification 14 of 2024 mandates that every registered person whose aggregate turnover is up to 2 crores for financial year 23-24 have been exempted from filing of GSTR 9. So by this we can understand that people whose turnover is below 2 crores, they have been exempted from filing of GSTR 9. So the people whose turnover, registered taxpayers whose turnover is above 2 crores, for them GSTR filing of GSTR 9 is mandatory. So for 2 crores, it is exempted, but it is optional. You, on your own motion, you have an option to file nil GSTR 9 also, and you can file GSTR 9. But there is an exemption. There will be no levy of any late fee or any coercive action from the department if you fail to file GSTR 9 and your turnover is up to 2 crores. So taxpayers falls between 2 to 5 crores. For them, GSTR 9 filing is mandatory and GSTR 9C filing is optional. I like to mention one thing, that GSTR 9C gets enabled only when GSTR 9 is filed. For taxpayers whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crores, filing of GSTR 9 and 9C both are mandatory. Now, there is a word used here is aggregate turnover. So let us understand what is aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover is defined under second, please. Aggregate turnover is defined under subsection 6 of section 2 of the CGST Act, which is appended below. Aggregate turnover means the aggregate value of all the turnover, value of all taxable supplies, excluding the value of inward supplies on which tax is payable by a person on RCM basis. It includes export of goods or services and interstate supplies of person having the same PAN number. So, for example, a company has various business verticals in a state or across different states. So, we'll club all the turnover together and then we'll arrive at the eligibility of filing of GSTR 9. So, for taxpayers whose aggregate turnover crosses 2 crores, for them it is mandatory to file GSTR 9. Then exempt supply is defined under subsection 47 of section 2 of CGST Act, which states that exempt supply means supply of any goods or services or both which attracts nil rate of tax or which may be wholly exempted from tax under section 11 or under section 6 of the IGST Act, and includes non-taxable supplies also. The format of GSTR 9 was first notified by notification 74 of 2018. Dated 31st December 2018. It's a very big notification, and whenever you feel any trouble, any doubt while filing GSTR 9, you may please go through this notification. Section wise, table wise, and parts wise, very big elaborate discussion is being there in the notification. If this notification consists of GSTR 9 and 9C format, however, the taxpayer needs to file them electronically on the common portal. So the annual return as in GSTR 9 is divided into 6 parts. There are total of 19 tables in it. GSTR 9C is divided into 5 parts with 16 tables. The first table consists of basic details like fundamental information required for the annual return. That is your GSTN number, the financial year for which you are filing GSTR 9, the trade name and legal name. These are auto-populated entries. Then comes the second part. Second part, there will be supply details, comprehensive account of your outward and inward supplies made during the financial year. The third part contains details of all the ITC for the particular financial year. Part 4 contains details of tax paid, declared in returns filed during the financial year, and Part 5 contains previous transactions, particulars of transactions for the previous financial year declared in returns of April to September of this September has been amended now. It is November actually, 30th November 2000 of the subsequent year of current financial year or up to date of filing of annual return of previous financial year, whichever is earlier. Part 6 is other information wherein you declare particulars of demands and refund. So this gives an idea of table 4, part 4. In table 4, in the supply details here we declare, in the table 4 we declare all the supplies which needs to be given to unregistered person under B2B category. 4B contains supply made to registered person under B2B category. Then 4C contains zero rated supply on payment of tax except supplies to SEZ. Then 4D contains supply of SEZ on payment of tax. You need to declare deemed exports, advances on which tax has been paid but invoice has not been issued, not covered under A and E above, finds their place in 4B, 4F. Inward supplies on reverse charge basis finds its place in 4G, and all the sum total will go to 4H. So the recent changes, G1, 4G1, wherein supplies on which e-commerce operator is required to pay tax as per section 9(5), including amendments, if any e-commerce operator has to report these supplies under G1, 4G1, and this will club here, it will come to 4H. Now coming to 4I. So all the credit notes which for B2B supplies has to be declared in negative in this table. Then supplies of tax declared through amendments has to be declared in 4K. 4J finds place for debit notes for B2B supply, and supplies of tax reduced through amendments with negative finds its place in 4L. So this GSTR 9 for this financial year, there are a lot of changes. Earlier, there were taxpayer has to declare everything. Now, after you file your GSTR 1 completely, you file your GSTR 3B completely, all the data from GSTR 1, GSTR 3B and GSTR 2B will auto-populate in your GSTR 9. Thereafter, you have to give the breakup of that data. So ideally, at the end, there should be 0, which may not be the case for majority of taxpayers. We'll address those issues subsequently. Now, details of output supplies made during the financial year on which tax is not payable has to be declared in table 5. So table 5A contains details of zero rated supply, which is export without payment of taxes. 5B contains supply to SEZ without payment of taxes. 5C will have reverse charge supplies on which tax is paid by the recipient on RCM basis. 5D will be exempted. 5E finds place for nil rated supplies, and 5F for non-GST supplies. So recently one more section has been inserted here. One more table is inserted here, C1, which is supplies on which tax is to be paid by e-commerce operator as per section 9(5). These suppliers have to report it here. 5H then finds place for credit notes issued in respect of transactions specified in A to F above. 5I will have debit notes issued in respect of transactions specified in A to F above. 5J will find place for supplies declared through amendments. And then supplies reduced through amendments have to be declared in this table. Sum total will come H to K above. Turnover on which tax is not to be paid will be calculated by adding G and L above. Total turnover including advances will be 4N plus 5M minus 4G above minus 4G1. All these things you can find it in the format of GSTR 9 under notification 74 of 2018. So total input tax credit in 4A of form GSTR 9 will auto-populate from GSTR 2B will auto-populate here. It will contain some total of table 4A of form 3B. Then for table 6B, you can refer to table 4A5 of GSTR 3B, which is aggregate value of ITC availed on all inward supplies except imports and RCM. Then table 6C will contain details of ITC on inward supplies received from URP, unregistered person liable for RCM on which tax is paid and ITC availed. This data can be taken from table 4A3 of GSTR 3B. 6D will contain details of ITC on inward supplies received from registered person under RCM other than 6B above. 6B is for aggregate value of ITC availed on all inward supplies except imports and RCM on which tax is paid and ITC availed. 6E will contain details of ITC availed on import of goods including supplies of goods from SEZ. 6F will contain details of ITC availed on import of services, and 6G will contain details from ITC received from input service distributors. 6H will be the aggregate value of ITC availed, reversed and reclaimed under the provisions of this act will be declared here. The difference between the total amount of input tax credit availed through form 3B and input tax credit declared in rows B to H shall be declared here. Ideally, this amount should be 0. Details of any transitional credit received in including revision of Tran 1, whether upward or downward, if any, shall be declared here. 4L will contain details of transition credit received. Transition credit received in the electronic credit ledger after filing of form GST Tran 2 shall be declared here. 6M will find details of ITC availed but not covered in any heads specified in the 6B2L above shall be declared here. Details of ITC availed through form ITC 01 and ITC 02 in financial year shall be declared here. So in this table 6, details of ITC for the financial year has a breakup of capital goods, input services and inputs. Now we move to table 7. Table 7A to 7D contains details of ITC reversed due to ineligibility or reversals required under Rule 37, 39, 42 and Rule 43 of the CGST rules. This shall be declared here. 7E to 7G, this column should also contain details of any ITC reversed under Section 17(5) of CGST Act 2017 and details of ineligible transitional credit claimed under form Tran 1 and Tran 2 and then subsequently reversed. 4B of form 3B may be used for filing of these details. Any ITC reversed through form ITC 03 shall be declared in 7H1. If the amount stated in table 4D of form 3B was not included in 4A of form 3B, then no entry should be made in table 7E of form GSTR 9. However, if amount mentioned in table 4D of form 3B was included in table 4A of form 3B, then entry will come in 7E of form GSTR 9. Table 8A is an auto-populated entry from form 2B. This would be aggregate of all the input tax credit that has been declared by the corresponding suppliers in their form GSTR1. Table 8B finds details of the ITC declared in table 6B and H will be auto-populated here. 8C will contain aggregate value of ITC availed on all inward supplies except RCM, but include supplies of services received from SEZ received during current financial year, but credit on which was availed between April to 30th day of November. Table 4A5 of Form 3B may be used for this. This has been substituted with effect from October 22 and notification 18 of 2022. Then 8D will have the difference of what is the auto-populated entry. the ITC declared in 6B and 6H above, and 8C. There may be circumstances where ITC availed in Form 3B is greater than ITC available in Form 2B. In such cases, 8D shall come negative. 8E and 8F should be filled with ITC available and not availed in Form 3B, as the same was ineligible. Ideally, if 8D is positive, if this entry above is positive, then sum of 8E and 8F shall be equal to 8D. Now table 8G will find the aggregate value of IGST paid at the time of imports, including imports from SEZ, during the financial year shall be declared here. Table 8H contains details of ITC in table 6E, which will come auto-populated here. 8J will also be auto-populated. Subsequently, 8K is also auto-populated. It contains the total ITC which shall lapse for the current financial year shall be computed in this row, which will be an auto-populated entry. So now we'll go through part 4, which is details of tax paid as declared in returns filed during the financial year. That is table 9. So this table 9 basically contains details of the IGST, CGST, various taxes paid by the taxpayer, IGST, CGST, SGST, cess, interest, late fee, penalty, and other dues. Part 5 basically consists of particulars of transactions for the previous financial year, but paid in Form 3B of April to September, November, now amended, of current financial year, or date of filing of annual return for previous financial year. For example, in the annual return for financial year 23-24, the transaction declared in April to 30th November 2024 for financial year 24 shall be declared, whichever is earlier. The instructions to fill part 5 are as follows. Table 10 and 11. Details of additions or amendments to any of the supplies already declared in the return for the previous financial year, but amendments were furnished in Table 9A, Table 9B and 9C of Form GSTR1 of April to September of current financial year, or date of filing of annual return of previous financial year, whichever is earlier, shall be declared here. So Table 9A, 9B and 9C are details of the invoice, shipping bill, which were furnished earlier and were incorrect. These details find their place in GSTR1. 9B is debit note, credit notes where refund voucher in original. Table 9C is debit note, credit note or refund voucher amendments thereof. Table 12 finds its place for aggregate value of reversal of ITC which was availed in the previous financial year, but reversed in returns filed for the month of April to November of the current financial year, or the date of filing of annual return for the previous financial year, shall be declared here. Table 4B of GSTR 3B may be used for filing of these details. Table 13 finds its place for details of ITC for goods or services received in the previous financial year, but ITC for the same was availed in the returns filed for the month of April to November of the current financial year, or date of filing of annual return for the previous financial year, whichever is earlier, shall be declared here. Table 4A of Form 3B may be used for filing of these details. However, any ITC which was reversed in financial year 23-24 as per second proviso to subsection 2 of section 16, but was reclaimed in financial year 24-25, the details of such ITC reclaimed shall be furnished in annual return of form financial year 23-24. So now we'll move to part 6, which consists of details of other information. The instruction to fill part 6 are as follows. For filing 15A, 15B, 15C and D, Aggregate value of refunds claimed, sanctioned, rejected, and pending for processing shall be declared here. Refund claim will be the aggregate value of all the refund claims filed in the financial year and will include refunds which have been sanctioned, rejected, or are pending for processing also.
Vipul,
Madam?
Vipul, you make your screen now full screen. You make it then. I think.
Okay, 1 second, sir.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Refund pending will be the aggregate amount in all refund applications for which acknowledgement has been received and will exclude provisional refunds received. This will not include details of non-GST refund claims. Then table 15E, 15F and 15G shall contain aggregate value of demand of taxes for which an order confirming the demand has been issued by the adjudicating authority. Aggregate value of taxes paid out of the total value of confirmed demand as declared in 15E above shall be declared here. Aggregate value of demands pending recovery out of 15E shall also be declared here. For 16A, ma'am, I'll do the slide for full page because some problem is coming. Some banner is there on the top. So I'll just make it full after 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
For 16A, table 16A contains aggregate value of supplies received from composition taxpayer shall be declared here. Table 5 of form GSTR 3B may be included for filing up of these details. (16B) contains aggregate value of all deemed supplies from the principal to the job worker in terms of subsection 3 and subsection 4 of section 143 of the CGST Act shall be declared here. So all the job work which is being done by the taxpayer has to be declared in table 16B of GSTR 9. So GSTR 3B reporting requirements are 16A, 16B and 16C. 16A and B has been discussed by me. 16C will be deemed supplies for goods sent on approval basis but were not returned to the principal supplier within 180 days. Now comes, we are reaching at the end of GSTR 9. Table 17 and 18 will have the summary of supplies affected and received against a particular HSN code to be reported only in this table. So whatever the supplies have been made in GSTR 1, that HSN code wise we have to declare in GSTR 9. Although it is optional for taxpayers who have annual turnover up to 1.5 crore. It will be mandatory to report HSN code at 2-digit level for taxpayers having having annual turnover in the preceding year above 1.5 crore but up to 5 crores, and at 4-digit level for taxpayer having annual turnover above 5 crores. UQC, which is unique quantity code, details to be furnished only for supply of goods. Quantity is to be reported net of returns. Table 12 of Form GSTR1 may be used for filing up details in Table 17. It may be noted that this summary details are required to be declared only for those inward supplies which in value independently account for 10% or more of the total value of inward supplies. Table 19 contains details of late fee which will be payable if annual return is filed after the due date. So earlier, as per the Act, there was accrual of late fee amounting to 100 rupees per day, making it maximum to 0.25% of the turnover. The due date for filing of GST return, GSTR 9, is 31st December 2024. Late fee has been revised to 50 rupees per day now for turnover up to 5 crores. Taxpayers having aggregate annual turnover of up to 5 crores. And it will consist of 25 rupees CGST and 25 rupees SGST. The maximum late fee leviable is now 0.04% of the total turnover. For taxpayers whose turnover is 5 crores and less than 20 crores, this late fee will amount to 100 rupees per day, consisting 50 rupees CGST and 50 rupees SGST, and maximum is 0.04% of the taxable turnover. For taxpayers having turnover greater than 20 crores, late fee leviable is 200 rupees per day with 100 rupees CGST and 100 rupees SGST, and maximum will be 0.5% of the turnover amount. So this late fee is mandated under CGST Act by Section 47, which prescribes for late fee for delay in filing of annual returns. So relevant extract is there on the slide. It says that any registered person who fails to furnish the return required under Section 44 by the due date shall be liable to pay a late fee of 100 rupees for every day during which such failure continues, subject to a maximum of an amount calculated at a quarter percent, which has been amended now. The separate notification has been given for revision of the late fee of his turnover in the state or union territory. So these are the key points which needs to be considered while taxpayer is filing GSTR 9. Revision of GSTR 9 9C is not possible once it is filed, authentication done by the taxpayer. GSTR 9 and 9C to be filed even if GSTR is surrendered, and if is more than ATO is more than 2 crores or 5 crores. GSTR 9 and 9C to be filed for all GSTN if more than one GSTN on the PAN. GSTR 9 and 9C provides your last chance to correct mistakes in GST returns. You can pay any liability during GSTR 9C while filing GRC 03. You cannot claim ITC. Due date for claiming ITC for financial year 23-24 is 30/11/2024. In case of extra tax paid and not rectified at the time of GST return filing, the same can be rectified in GSTR 9, and that refund can be claimed by filing GST RFD 01 2 years from the relevant date under Section 54. I'd like to take you through a walkthrough of online filing of GSTR 9. I'll stop the PPT, madam, now. I'll go through the video now.
Yes, please do that, Vipul.
So filing of GSTR 9 is on the same website from where the taxpayer is logging for filing of his normal returns. GSTR 1 in your username, password, and the captcha. It will take you to the main page. So from here, we have to go to services, returns, and then we have to click annual returns. Once we reach here, we have to select financial year, which now in our case is 23-24. So this year, then we have to search for it. So we have an option to file nil GSTR 9. We have an option to file nil GSTR 9. This is only for taxpayers who have not made any outward supply, commonly known as sale, not received any inward supplies, not no liability of any kind, and not claimed any credit during the financial year, and not received any order creating demand, and not claimed any refund during the financial year. GSTR 9 has to be mandatorily filed online. It can also be prepared as an offline tool and then uploaded to the portal and filed. So on the page of annual return, we'll see two tabs of annual return GSTR 9, reconciliation statement GSTR 9C. The due date is mentioned below the return. So a thing to be remembered is annual return in form GSTR 9 filed once cannot be revised. Computation of ITC has been made based on GSTR 1, GSTR 5 filed by your corresponding suppliers up to 30/11/2024. GSTR 1, GSTR 5 filed after the updated date will be covered in next updation. So GSTR 9C gets enabled only when you file GSTR 9. So these are the steps which are being prescribed. In case of any doubt, you may please refer to the parent notification which was issued in 2018. So taxpayer who has not received any supply, not made any supply, who has not received any inputs, who has not received any ITC and no output is there, they have the option to file nil returns. So while filing GSTR 9, we have to understand one thing, that now you have an option to download GSTR 9, which is a computed summary. It will be available to you in PDF format. A summary of GSTR 1 for the financial year for 12 months can be downloaded in one go. You can download the summary of GSTR 3B also in PDF format. And you can download table 8A documents also. So we should understand one thing, this will contain the summary of all the input invoices which you have received, which you may keep handy in case any notice or in case any demand comes to you. You can have the data ready with this by saving this file with you. It will contain B2B, B2BA, B2B credit note, debit note, whatever has been issued. A comprehensive detail you can find here in this. So as earlier explained, part table 4 consists of details of advances, inward and outward supplies made during the financial year on which tax is payable. It is an auto-populated entry. As you can see, whatever the advances, inward and outward supplies were made, for which this is an auto-populated entry, it is reflected here. Then for serial number 5, whatever the outward supplies made during the financial year on which tax is not payable will find its place here. Details of all these are auto-populated by the system. So it has become pretty easy now for the taxpayer to file GSTR 9. It has avoided the taxpayer the hassle of computing all the details on monthly basis. Details of the same has been explained in the slide earlier. So this basically contains the details of all the turnovers. So your zero rated supply, export without payment of tax turnover will find here, because since all these are nil rated supplies, there is no question of any tax portion arising out of it. So wherever this difference is more than 20%, that entry will come in red. Then this is the detail of ITC, which total amount of ITC availed through Form 3B. And one interesting thing is there that all the details from E till E will be in 3 bifurcations of capital goods, inputs, and input services. This will find details of all the ITC which has been reversed by the taxpayer under various rules discussed before. So from this year, we have a new return here, a new statement here, GSTR 2B, wherein all the entries will be auto-populated from October of last month. The GSTR 2B will be available to the taxpayer on 14th of the month. So now, as we can see, from 2B entries have come here. 6B will be auto-populated from 6B and 6H. 8B will be auto-populated from 6B and 6H above. Then we need to declare ITC on inward supplies other than imports and inward supplies liable to RCM, but it will include services received from SEZ, received during the financial year but availed in the next financial year. So suppose you have some ITC this year and you want to avail it next year, that has to be declared here. Since you will be using this ITC in the next financial year, your current ITC will reduce by that amount. So from entries from 6H, entries from 6H to 6K will be all auto-populated and will be system computed only. Move on to table 9, which is details of tax paid as declared in the returns filed during the financial year. So it gives you a comprehensive idea of all the taxes paid by you for a financial year. It will show you the tax which is being payable, the tax which you have paid by cash and through utilizing your credit ledger. So this will contain particulars of transactions for the financial year declared in returns of the next financial year till the specified period. This specified period is till 30th of November 2024 for financial year 23-24. This is other ITC related information. So two key points here are ITC available but not availed, ITC available but ineligible. Particulars of demand and refunds will find its place here. Taxpayer has to key in all the details manually. Then this table 16 finds place for supplies received from composition taxpayer, wherein deemed supply by job worker and goods sent on approval basis. This has to be filled by the taxpayer. Then HSN wise summary has to be generated here, and you can search for the goods, whatever HSN you key in, or you can write the description also. It will give you the HSN code of that particular good. Then comes the last part, late fee payable and paid. So let us not assume that we need to pay any late fee. Let us assume that all the returns are filed within due date by the taxpayers. Then we have to click on compute liabilities. If any liability arise, you have to discharge by DRC 03. And while discharging through DRC 03, please remember to select annual return and write for what you have discharged this liability. Interest computation shall be done on the part of the taxpayer. This is the draft which you can preview before finally submitting it, since it is an important return which cannot be amended. You can download the same summary in Excel format also for further reference. So we come to the end of the summary of filing of GSTR 9 online. Now we'll go through the overview of GSTR 9C. These are the important points which needs to be kept in mind while filing GSTR 9C. So likewise 9C also has certain basic details. So part 1 will have basic details like financial year, GST and legal name, trade name will be auto-populated. Are you liable to audit under this act? Part 2 will contains reconciliation of turnover declared in audited annual financial statement with turnover declared in annual return GSTR 9. So part 5 will have reconciliation of gross turnover including exports as per audited financial statements for the state or union territory for multi-GSTN units under same PAN. The turnover shall be derived from audited financial statements. B will have, you'll have to declare unbilled revenue at the beginning of the financial year. Then it has table C, unadjusted advances at the end of financial year. 5D will have details of deemed supply under Schedule 1, and these details has to be entered positive. E should be credit notes issued after the end of financial year but reflected in the annual return with a negative entry. F will have trade discounts accounted for in the audited annual financial statement but not permissible under GST. G, turnover from April April 2023 to March 2024 with a negative. Unbilled revenue at the end of financial year. Unadjusted advances at the beginning of financial year. And 5J will have credit notes accounted for in the audited financial statement but not permissible under GST. One minute, madam. Once again. So 5K will find adjustments on account of supply of goods by SEZ units to DTA units. 5L will find for turnover for the period under composition scheme. 5M will have adjustments in turnover under section 15 and rules thereunder. 5N will have adjustments in turnover due to foreign exchange fluctuations. 5O will find adjustments in turnover due to reasons not listed above. 5P will be an auto populated entry. It will give you annual turnover after adjustment as above. Turnover as declared in annual GSTR 9, you have to key in here. So any unreconciled turnover, which will be the difference of turnover as declared in GSTR 9 and annual turnover after adjustment as in the above table, will find its place here, for which taxpayer needs to explain the reasons thereof. Reconciliation of taxable turnover will find its place in table 7. So 7A will have an annual turnover after adjustments from 5P above, which will be an auto-populated entry. 7B will have value of exempted, nil-rated, non-GST supplies, no supply turnover. 5C will find its place for zero-rated supplies without payment of tax. 5D will find its place for supplies on which tax is to be paid by recipient on reverse charge basis. 5E will contain taxable turnover as per adjustments above, which will be the difference of A minus B, C and D above. So 5F will have taxable turnover as per liability declared in annual return GSTR 9, and any unreconciled taxable turnover which find its place here, for which reasons needs to be explained by the taxpayer. Now part 3 will have reconciliation of tax paid, in which reconciliation of rate wise liability and amount payable therein has to be declared. So in this description, you'll have to declare tax paid at different rates, like 5%, 12%, 18 and 28%, both on forward charge and reverse charge basis. Any interest, late fee and penalty shall be included in GSTR 9C. Thereafter, the table analyzes total amount to be paid and declared in GSTR 9 and gives detailed of unreconciled payment amount, for which reasons have to be stated as appended below. Then comes table 11, which is additional amount payable but not paid, for which reasons has to be specified under table 6, 8 and 10 above. Table 12 gives an idea of reconciliation of net input tax credit. So table 12A will contain ITC availed as per audited annual financial statement for the state or union territory for multi GSTN units under same PAN. This should be derived from books of accounts. 12B will have ITC booked in earlier financial year, claimed in current financial year. C, table 12C will have ITC booked in current financial year to be claimed in subsequent financial year. And D finds its mention, D is an auto-populated entry which will find its place for ITC availed as per audited financial statement or books of account. 12E will be ITC claimed in annual return GSTR 9, and F will be unreconciled ITC, for which reasons need to be stated by the taxpayer. Table 14 contains reconciliation of ITC declared in annual GSTR 9 with ITC availed on expenses as per audited financial statements or books of accounts for these various entries which are there on the slide. In this 14R will be an auto-populated entry which will be the total amount of eligible ITC availed. Reasons for any unreconciled ITC has to be furnished henceforth by the taxpayer. Table 16 will contain tax payable on unreconciled differences in ITC due to reasons specified in 13 and 15 above. And part 5 will contain auditor's recommendation on any additional liability due to non-reconciliation. Thereafter, one verification form will be there that has to be certified by the seal of the auditor and the signature and stamp. So I conclude my presentation now for filing of GSTR 9 and 9C. 9C video is not available because I could not find any taxpayer who has filed 9 and left out 9C. Over to Ebenezer, sir.
Thank you, Vipul, for the detailed presentation. I am sure that majority of the doubts in the minds of our audience were clear with the presentation. Now we will move on to the question and answer session. To proceed with question and answer session, along with our faculty, we have with us Ms. Rakshana IRS, Joint Director, DGDS BZU. We thank you for your gracious presence on this occasion. Now let us look at the questions in the chat box. Ma'am, one by one, we can see the questions in the chat box.
Thank you, Ebenezer. Vipul, I'm taking questions from the top. Just look at the ones from bottom. By the time I reach the bottom, if you're able to answer some. And
Okay, ma'am.
Ebenezer ji, do we still have the chat on? Because I have noted down questions till 4:15. Beyond that, if there are any, then I'll take up later. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So at 3:16, there was a question that if ITC was reversed once under temporary reversal, then time limit as per 16.4 will apply in reclaiming such ITC or not. So in this respect, I would request you to refer to Rule 37.4, which states that the time limit specified in subsection 4 of section 16 will not apply to a claim of re-availing any credit in accordance with provisions of Act or provisions of this chapter that have been reversed earlier. However, please note that no ITC can be reversed or availed through annual return. You can only note down that information here. If the person find themselves liable for reversing any ITC, they will do so through form DRC3 separately. Then at 3:20, there was a question that section 44(2) prohibits filing of annual returns for any year beyond 3 years from the due date of filing of such return. The doubt is, one, what action has to be initiated against the defaulters for the 3 years, where the 3 years have already elapsed? And two, will the prohibition apply to GSTR 9C if 9 has already been filed and 9C is pending? So I'll answer first part of the question first. If you have failed to submit the annual return within the due time, then there can be various actions taken. One would be under section 46. There can be a notice to the section 46 of the Act provides that where a registered person fails to furnish a return under section 39 or 44 or 45. So it includes the annual return. A notice shall be issued requiring them to furnish such return within 15 days in such form and such manner as may be prescribed. So this notice can be given. Then there can be late fee for delayed filing, which Vipul has already taken up in detail in the presentation. But just to summarize, section 47(2) of the Act provides for a levy of late fee of 100 rupee per day for delay in furnishing of annual return in form GSTR 9, which has been reduced, which has been rationalized. So now by notification 7 of 2023, if registered person has aggregate turnover up to 5 crore, then it is 25 per day. Maximum is 0.02% of turnover. And for more than 5 crore, but up to 20 crore, it is 50 per day. And maximum 0.02 under each act. So total 0.04% under each act. So a total late fee of 200 per day plus maximum amount of 0.04% depending on the turnover would be the late fee that can be applied. Then there will be, there is definitely a possibility of general penalty for contravention of provision. So this penalty extending up to 25,000 under each act. So total of 50,000 up to the amount of 50,000 can be levied. And then by section 144, 44(2), this particular provision was made effective that furnishing of annual return will not be allowed after expiry of 3 years from the due date. So these are the various actions: late fee, notice to defaulter, and general penalty, which can be done. And the second part of the question is whether the prohibition will apply to 9C if 9 is already filed. So section 44 says annual return, and I believe both forms in such form and manner. So in my opinion, this entire consequence of failure to submit the annual return would apply in both cases. Then there is a question at 323 by a person stating, I missed one invoice in GSTR 3B in 23-24. Supplier uploaded in 23-24. I claimed in April 24 GSTR 3B. Where do I have to show it in GSTR 9? So in this case, your GSTR 9 table 4 details of advances, inward and outward supplies made during the financial year on which tax is payable. In this case, supplier has shown it already there. So in in 4F, advances on which tax has been paid but invoice has not been issued, not covered under A to E. There it should lie. Question at 325 is again the repetition. It's the same, that invoice belongs to 23-24, supplier uploaded in 24. We have taken ITC in April 24. Where do I show? So this would be under table 4. Then question at 325 by one Mr. Uday. In GSTR 3B, there are columns 4B, 2 other reversal and column 4D1 ITC reclaimed. Where is the reclaimed ITC amount claimed during year or subsequent year to be shown in GSTR 9 as details of ITC under serial number 6A of 9 is auto-populated and includes reclaimed ITC. Where this reclaimed we want to mention to avoid difference in ITC. This is getting auto-populated by it is no in part 3 of GSTR 9. In part 3, which is the details of ITC for the financial year, there all this information is going to be part of this would be already pre-filled and remaining has to be shown over there. Then there is a question at 329 by one Mr. MK. Is it mandatory to file GSTR 9 if one taxpayer's total turnover is below 2 crore? This is optional, as has been shown in the presentation by Vipul. Up to 2 crores, GSTR 9 is optional and 9C is not applicable. More than between 2 to 5 crores, 9 is mandatory, 9C is optional, and more than 5 crore, 9 is mandatory, 9C is also mandatory. So also the question at 320, which was asking about whether prohibition will apply to 9C if 9 is already filed, that will only apply in case 9C is mandatory to be filed. Then at 336, there is a question which has been repeated a couple of times. It says that instruction 9 below GSTR 9 in notification 74 of 2018 says that towards the end of the return, taxpayer shall be given an option to pay an additional liability declared in the form through form DRC3. Taxpayer shall select annual return in the drop-down provided in DRC3. It may be noted that such liability can be paid through electronic cash ledger only, but it is not backed by any provision in the Act. Kindly throw a light on this. Not clear about the question, Krishna. Basically, this instruction is simply saying that if during the reconciliation process and during the filing of GSTR 9 and 9C, you realize that there's some amount payable, then you can pay it through DRC3. You don't need a separate provision for it. This 9, the annual return and 9C reconciliation statement is for that purpose only. So there would be no separate provision which will say that you have to file it. It's simply giving you a method of paying this. If there is any discrepancy, then you can pay that amount through 9C and in 9C, in DRC3, and in DRC3 in the drop down you can claim. You can mention that this has been found through your annual return filing. Then there is a question, if ITC at 337 there was a question, if ITC is appearing in GSTR 2B but recorded and claimed in next financial year, then such ITC will form part of table 8C of 8D will have difference for the same. This question is I'm not sure what you're trying to ask. What I understood is that when it has appeared in 2B but recorded and claimed in next financial year, whether it will form a part of table 8C or 8D. Now 8C is ITC on inward supplies other than imports and inward supply liable to reverse charge but include services received from SEZ received during the financial year but availed in the next financial year up to period specified. And 8D is the difference in 2A and 6BH and this 8C. So that very clearly is stating, the table itself is very clearly stating that in 8C you have ITC on inward supplies other than imports and inward supplies liable to reverse charge, but including services received from SEZ, received during the financial year, but ITC availed in the next financial year, which is what your question also says, that ITC appears in 2B, but claimed in next financial year. Whether this ITC will form part of table 8C. So my answer, if that question, if the understanding of that question which I've mentioned is correct, then my answer is yes, it will form a part of table 8C. At 338, there is a question. Kindly explain where to show ITC for the current financial year availed next year and also for previous financial year availed in current financial year. This is in part 3 of the annual written. In part 3, details of ITC for the financial year. Table 6 says details of ITC availed during the financial year. And then you have other ITC related information which says as per 2A, then availed this, received in this year but availed in next year. And yeah, so this information is coming in part 3, table 6, 7 and 8 of the annual return. Then there at 344 there is a question. Table 6A of GSTR 9. Table 6A of GSTR 9. Yes, it auto-populates, which includes figure which is reversed and then reclaimed, due to which some figure appears twice. Should we exclude them while classification in 6B? If it has already been included, I'm not sure why would you say that it is appearing twice, because these two are two very separate things. A is talking about total amount of ITC availed through form GSTR 3B, and 6B is talking about inward supplies on inputs, capital goods and input services. So so there should not be any repetition in this as per my understanding. If your understanding differs, then please specify that. Then at 352 and a couple of other times, there's a question in table 18, inward HSN, is it mandatory or not? This is optional. Then I've given a list of optional entries in the chat box itself. There are several entries in GSTR 9 in several tables, which are optional: 5H to 5K, 5D and 5E, 6B, C, D and E, 7A to H, 12 and 13 reversal of ITC during previous year, and 18 HSN-wise summary of inward supplies. So depending on whether you have had those instances which will cause you to have credit note, debit note issued for amendment, exempted supply, nil rated supply, or accumulated reversal of ITC during previous financial, that will not happen to every taxpayer. So they are required to be filed only for those taxpayer in whose case these transactions have happened. And specifically to your question, HSN is not mandatory. It is an optional information in the annual return table. RCM of fiscal year 23-24 paid in April 24 and ITC claimed in April 24 were to show in GSTR 9 of fiscal year 23-24. Again, this will come in table 4. There is a specific row for reverse charge. Yeah. Row G, inward supplies on which tax has to be paid on reverse charge basis, should be there. After that, I have not seen the questions, so I'll just take a moment to look at the questions after 355. I request Vipul to have a look if he has seen.
Madam,
Yeah.
one question is repeatedly being asked that by Krishna, inspection
whether
says
it is
the additional
optional or
liability is
not.
to be paid by
HSN.
using cash only. Why can't we use ITC for the same? No provision in the law denies payment of tax from
I think
ITC.
this is the
So-
same question as one person had already asked. No,
Yes,
where is the
yes,
legal
ma'am.
provision? Which I've
Yes, ma'am.
answered already, that you don't need a specific, forms are also a part of our act. So
Yes,
taking
ma'am.
that to be a legal provision, you don't need a separate legal provision for this payment, differential payment to be paid through DRC3 in cash.
Because section 44 is very clear in the end, for every financial year electronically within such time and in such form and in such manner as may be prescribed. So already it is a part of this. So there need not be any separate provision for this.
Correct. Vipul, while you're going through the remaining questions, I'll just go back from 355 onwards. I'll look at the questions and meanwhile, please go ahead.
So one question was ITC for financial year 23-24 uploaded by vendor in next year. We have not claimed the same ITC till October 24 GSTR 3B returns. Can we declare the same in ITC opening balance ledger, which due date is 30th November 24. You can declare the unclaimed ITC of financial year 23-24 uploaded by your vendor in the next financial year in the ITC opening balance ledger if you have not claimed it in 3B up to October 24. This declaration must be made as per the provision under Rule 37 and 37A of the CGST rule, subject to condition which are outlined in Notification 44, Notification 14 of 2022 and subsequent amendments. So this ITC has to be claimed before deadline. If ITC remains unclaimed, it can be declared in ITC opening balance ledger before 30th November 24 as per procedures for reclaiming eligible ITC under Rule 37A. Then what are the conditions to utilize the ITC opening balance ledger? It is ITC must be eligible as per Section 16 of CGST Act. You have to all the conditions which are mandated under Section 16 needs to be fulfilled. The supplier must have reported the invoice in their GSTR1 and the same must reflect also in your 2B. The ITC should not have been utilized or claimed earlier in GSTR3B, and you should have proper documentation for that, like invoices. If you can provide e-way bill, that is better during verification by the tax officer. Vendor confirmations also, this must be maintained as records with you.
There is a question at 359 from Vignesh, whether need to report in GSTR 9 and 9C under outward supply following revenue or income as per financial statement. Interest income from debenture NCD, interest income from saving bank, interest income from FD. All of these are reported in ITR, not in your GSTR 9 and 9C. They're not your business related outward supplies unless you are a bank, unless your business itself is that of lending and saving, in which case it will be a different thing altogether. But otherwise, saving bank interest, interest income from debenture NCD, etc., income from fixed deposit, these are all not part of your GSTR 9 and 9C. Please do not get confused. 9 and 9C and annual statement are used for reconciliation by the department, but 9 and 9C are supposed to be your GST returns, annual GST returns. So your individual overseas investment or unlisted equity share or fixed deposit interest or saving bank interest or debenture interest, etc., they are not required to be a part of your 9 and 9C. Then there is a question at 359. While filing GSTR 3B in other ITC, inflated figures are coming due to reversal. And I see a lot of questions regarding ITC on this annual return filing. While I will try and answer, I also suggest that there are two circulars. One is 17 of 2022, which deals with this reclaiming of ITC, etc. I request you to please go through that circular where it has been dealt with in detail. So now the question is, while inflated figures are coming due to reversal and reclaim during the year, which is although nullified after adjusting other reversal in 3B, but while filing 9, the figures of 6B and H, 6B and H is coming in table 8B. 8B is other ITC. Okay, B. But your 8B is supposed to be auto-populated, Prateek. 8B is auto-populated and it is taking information from 6B and 6H. The table itself is quite clearly stating that. So there should not be any excess claim or there should not be any excess reversal requirement on this. If you have filed your 6B and H properly, 6A is auto-populated. If you have filed your B and H properly, your 8B should be correctly coming. So this should not be an issue. I am unable to envisage a scenario in which this will happen. Probably because we don't see the same screens as you do, I might be having an issue in understanding this. In that case, we can take this separately. But considering that 8B is getting auto-populated based on what you write in 6B and H, it should not be different. Then whether it is auto-populated. Yes, it is auto-populated as per GSTR 2A. It is mentioned in the table itself that part 3 of your annual return 8A is auto-populated data, and it is auto-populated from table 3 and 5 thereof of GSTR 2. Need clarification on reporting ITC while filing GSTR 9 on invoices of FI. This I have already answered earlier. This should not cause a reconciliation discrepancy with 8. Then Vignesh has asked, last fiscal year, registered GST dealer, we sold transferred some of the fixed assets vehicles on which ITC not availed under margin scheme. Vehicles sold transferred to related parties. So transaction value we can take WTV as per 32 of IT at market rate. What is the question in this? 404 is a statement. I'm not sure what is the question there. On those assets, ITC is availed by us under VAT. I think this question needs elaboration. What VAT are we talking about? Then again, there is that question of whether HSN is mandatory or not. I've already answered. I've also given you detailed of optional entries. Multi GST number under same PAN and same financial. How to report in 9C. Vipul, can you look at this, please? I've not seen 9C. This is a question at 418. Multi GST number under same PAN and same financial. Table 8 of GSTR 9 reflects reconciliation of ITC in 2B. As per table 6B, in table 6 ITC is not to be shown.
419, madam. Can additional liability declared in GSTR 9 paid through ITC have filed
No,
GSTR
not
9?
this. Just before this, there are two questions. 418 by Abdul Mumin, multi GST number under same PAN and same financial, how to report in 9C. And then after that by Neha Suthicha. This has already been answered, whether additional liability declared in GSTR 9 can be paid through ITC. No, this has to be paid through cash ledger only, written in the form itself under instruction 9. I have filed GSTR 9 after due date, but turnover with since GSTR 9 is optional for turnover below 2 crore, I don't think late fee should be applicable. While filing GSTR 3B of May, I have not claimed ITC, which I claimed in subsequent months. Can I claim it in annual return? May 23. If it is as per under 16, if you're still within the time limit to claim ITC, then yes. But it will not be done under annual return. No ITC can be claimed or reclaimed under annual return. You can only report there.
I'll answer this now. Multi GST number under same PAN and
Yeah,
same financial,
please.
how to report in 9C. So for this, if a single PAN has multiple GST registration in the same financial year, due to operation in multiple states, units or branches, GSTR 9C must be prepared and reported separately for each GSTN. So for each GSTN, you'll have an option to report it separately.
And the question right before that, Vipul, if you can look at Neha Sukhija's question, because she's repeated this question 3-4 times at later on as well.
Ma'am, this I need a comprehensive thing because it includes a lot of tables here. Need to go all the tables one by one. I'll revert it back shortly,
I'll
ma'am.
just say this in general to the people who are asking the questions. Wherever you are specifically asking for ITC details, no, whether it will double count, not count, it will help to have examples. Here we can conceptually tell you what to be filed in which part of GSTR 9, but specifically to answer whether it is getting repeated, double counted, etc. or not, we'll have to look at the specific examples. That might not be feasible right now. So maybe we will let that question go for now. After that, I'm just going through the list of questions. Ebenezer ji, if you see any which I have not addressed, you can let me know. I am looking now at 420. One, again, the same question has been repeated. Can the additional liability be paid through electronic cash ledger? Yes, additional liability has to be paid through electronic cash ledger. Whether table 8A will change after 30th November onward. No, the auto population will happen at the back end. So table will not change for you. Table 8A consists of sum of GSTR 2B of 12 months. However, table 8B consists of sum of 4A5. How to adjust? This is the similar part. I'll have to check. Then there is a request for PPT. Last date of filing 9C is the same as that of they're to be filed simultaneously. Vipul, am I correct? Annual
Ma'am?
return, last date of filing of 9C. It's the same,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
It's the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
as
Yes,
that
ma'am.
for
For
9.
GSTR 9 and
For
9C. Yes, ma'am.
for both 9 and 9C, the last date is same.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Even, madam, the same is reflected on the common portal of the taxpayer. When he log in, it will appear beneath GSTR 9 tab and GSTR 9C, both.
9C is not a return, but a statement is late fee applicable for late filing of 9C under section 47. See, this statement is also coming in due forms, right? So in my opinion, yes, it will be applicable. The late fee would be applicable. They have to be both filed by the due date. GSTR 99C uses term previous financial year, current financial year, and next financial year. Please explain themselves with regard to 23-24. So if you're filing the return for 23-24 financial year, that would be your current financial year. Previous financial year would be 22-23. Next would be 24-25. ITC reversal is more than ITC in some months, hence we paid the liability. How can we adjust in GSTR 9 since it is coming excess state tax paid in GSTR 9?
One particular question from Vinay is while filing GSTR 3B of May 23, I have not claimed ITC, nor was it claimed in any subsequent months. Can I claim it in the annual return? Please advise under
No
which column
ITC
can I
can be
claim the same?
claimed. As per my understanding, annual return, you cannot claim or reclaim any
Yes,
ITC. You can
yes, ma'am.
only report claiming or reclaiming of ITC or reversal of ITC. All of that happens separately. This is only a reporting statement of what you have already claimed or reversed in the past. Then Mr. Haridas says, continuation to my question at 319. You explained that late fee can be collected for such defaults, but late fee is triggered only if TP files the returns. Since he cannot file now, no, there is a maximum late fee. No, Mr. Haridas, there's a maximum late fee of 0.04% depending on, and whatever is the amount, depending on the turnover of the taxpayer. So that would be applicable.
Whether
This
table
last question,
8A will change after 30th November onward? No, it will not change. Table A is an
I already
auto-populated entry. It
answered,
will never change. Yes.
Vipul, already answered
Okay.
that question. Qualifying turnover is for previous year only. I think that's just a response. Is it mandatory to match table 4 sales with table 17 HSN of? No, HSN table 17, like I said, was optional. It is just giving you HSN wise details of your outward sales. Again, this has already been answered. Last date of 9C and late fee or interest for the same last date as that of, because this is also a part of your annual return. If next year ITC shows in 3 parts, particular transaction. Krishna is saying at 435, kindly note table 18 is not optional from 21-22 onwards. It shall be mandatory to report HSN code at 6-digit level for taxpayers having annual turnover in preceding year above 5 crore and at 4 digits for all B2B suppliers for taxpayer having annual turnover in preceding year up to 5 crore by notification film. I would just look at that notification and get back to you, Krishna. I was under the impression that these were optional. Let me just check notification 12 of 24 and get back to you.
One question from Gopal Krishna ji is, we have SEZ sales without tax, but total turnover is less than 2 crores. GSTR 9 is not necessary. Am I right? Yes, you are right. It is not mandatory. You have the option to file it. But one thing should be noted that your total turnover based on which you will file GSTR 9 is based on the aggregate turnover, means it's based on the aggregate turnover, which is the sum total of all the taxable supplies, including nil rated and excluding RCM supplies. So if this value is above 2 crores, you need to file GSTR 9 mandate.
I am looking at notification 12 of 24. I'm not able to see where it has been made mandatory. I mean, if that is the case, then yes, I will have to recheck that. But I'm going through notification 12 right now, and I don't see that option. Where should we mention GSTR 3B, 4B, 2B? Folks, these kind of questions would become very difficult for us to answer because we cannot sit and verify the returns side by side right now. The details are mentioned in the Form 9, and hopefully by the presentation made by Vipul, the parts of GSTR 9 where outward details will go or where ITC will go have been clarified. Other than that, I would request you to please email us with specific that form parts or the column parts, because right now to answer those questions we'll have to sit and look back at both the forms simultaneously. If we have received goods but same bill is reflected in 2B in FY, then do we have to report the same part? Please. See specific examples of which column and which row of your annual return you have to file. You'll have to look at the details given in the annual return statement itself. Answering from here by telling you that in this row, this column you can file is very, very difficult. Any conceptual questions, please feel free. Other than that, I think, Ebenezer ji, can you go back and check once whether we have seen, according to me, most of the questions which were conceptual on the topic have been answered.
Yeah, we have answered all the questions related to topic. We have answered all the questions. Are answered.
Vipul, any other inputs?
No, ma'am. Over to sir.
Okay, Ebenezer ji, rest of the questions and PPT requests can be made on our email.
Yeah, ma'am. I have given that. So we can conclude, ma'am.
In my opinion, yes, unless somebody else.
All the questions are answered, ma'am. We'll conclude.
Yeah.
I hope all the doubts have been clear. Now it is time to give vote of thanks. I request SP Kamath, President, CCC and I, Kerala, to propose vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ebenezer sir. Good evening, everybody. Respected officials from the Director General of Taxpayer Services, distinguished guest speakers, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great session. I understand there was a paucity of time. Was there? Many questions have come. I know everything cannot be answered, but I think the panel speakers and experts have done a great job of clarifying whatever possible. I take this opportunity to thank the DGTS for taking this initiative. Our special thanks to Rachna ma'am and Vipul Kumar sir for explaining and clarifying the questions and making the wonderful presentation to the audience. Our thanks to the guest speakers, Mr. Batar, Mr. Masood, Mr. Abhilash, Krishna Kumar, and Mr. GRS Ravi Shankar, and over the members of the trade bodies and professional bodies for their continued support. And we are certainly confident that they will continue to support. We are grateful to all the participants for having taken this interest and being part of this journey. I must apologize that some of you could not view the presentations. I think, Ebenezer sir, we need to look at this in the next meeting and see that this issue is addressed in the interest of our audience. So I would like to once again thank organizers, all the participant trade bodies and professional bodies for having taken interest and having participated actively in this today's presentation. For Cochin Chamber, it's a great honor. This is a chamber with 168 years of legacy, and we will extend whatever support required from our side. And we consider it's a great honor to be part of this event. And we wish everyone all the best. And again, one thanks to DGTS for this wonderful initiative. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, with the permission of the chair, I declare the session is closed. Thank you, one and all, for your kind presence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.